So after an embarrassing loss to Sugar Sean O'Malley, Marlon Chito Vera will be fighting Davison Figueiredo, or aka the God of War, this weekend for UFC Fight Night. Here are my thoughts. So I think Figueiredo, I'm going to call him Figgy, or refer to him as Figgy for this video. I think the key to Figgy beating Chito here, he's going to have to take the fight to the ground. You know, fighters, I feel personally fighters are different when they go up in weight class or down in weight class in terms of like heaviness, footwork. You know, a lot of those things start to change whether they're taking away or gaining weight. And, you know, in reference to Figgy, I feel like his striking is a bit slow. And you know, I have to refer to his fight against Cody Garbrandt, his most recent fight, in which he did submit and beat Garbrandt, but on the feet, he was slow and he was hesitant. Garbrandt was the faster striker, and I feel like Figgy really needed, it was, you know, it was an emergency for him to try to get that get the fight on the ground, because if that fight stayed on the feet, I feel like Garbrandt would have won by points if the fight went the full 3 or 5 rounds that it was supposed to go. That being said, yeah, Figgy's striking, he's heavy-handed. I feel like he's still heavy-handed, and he has a shot at knocking out opponents. He's not like he doesn't have any power at all, but he's a bit slow and indecisive with his striking, and I feel like that's not going to help him at all. In fact, it's going to hinder him if he fights that way against Marlon Chito Vera. So what Figgy really needs to do is take this fight to the ground, which I feel like is very hard to do against a fighter like Marlon Chito Vera, who is great takedown defense. For Chito, you know, the key for Chito to win this would definitely be to just, you know, keep marching forward, you know, and look for openings for that single heavy, powerful shot. And to do that, you know, you use smaller strikes or smaller shots to open up for that heavier shot. So if you were to go like a 2 to the body or a feint jab followed by a cross and then a heavy kick to the body, like things like that. You know, you got to really mix in strikes to hide that heavy shot attempt, and then you go with that, and then you knock out your opponent, which is what Chito kind of resorts to a lot of the time. And I feel like it's definitely possible for him to do it against Figgy, but I feel like Figgy is elusive per se. I feel like he's gonna have to really work on his evasiveness and his elusiveness in terms of like head movement and staying off of the straight line to fight Chito Vera. Because again, Chito Vera, as Sean O'Malley stated before their fight, he kind of stays in a straight line. His head is not really a lot of head movement from Chito a lot of the time, which leaves him open for a lot of creative strike attempts, which O'Malley attempted a lot of in his fight against Chito, which he won. He absolutely battered Chito and reshaped his head. I don't think Figgy is going to be able to do that, because I don't think Figgy has as much striking IQ, or at least as much striking ability in this heavier weight as Sean O'Malley does. But I feel like Figgy could potentially bring this fight to the ground. And if he does, it'll still be a dogfight. I don't think he's going to easily submit Chito Vera. I feel like he would be able to easily submit Garbrandt before their fight, and he did easily submit Garbrandt. But in terms of submitting Chito, I feel like, again, that's a whole different animal. But I feel like it could be possible. But if I had to, like, if I were a betting man, if I had to choose a specific outcome, I would definitely put money on this fight going the full number of rounds. I think this fight will go to a decision. And in a decision, I feel like Figgy has to rely on his control time. I don't think his striking is going to be able to outmatch Chito's striking. So I feel like the key here is going to be control time. But of course, again, that's the key for Figgy, not for Chito. Like I said before, Chito but he needs to, you know, do what Chito does best. You know, throwing jabs, throwing jab crosses, throwing teeps up the middle, and trying to set up a hard and heavy shot. You know, something that'll really hurt you if it hits you clean. You know, something like that. So I mean, in summation, I feel like this fight can, you know, I feel like it's on the edge. It's not necessarily like a landslide either way. I feel like it'll be a close fight. It's definitely going to decision. And if I had to give you guys a concrete prediction of what is going to happen, you know, in the end, like the end result and a specific end result at that, I'm going to go with, and I might change this come Friday, but I'll change. I'll see how I feel on Friday. But for right now, I'm gonna tell you guys that I believe that Figueiredo is gonna get the W here. I think he's that good. You know, he was really, really, really great at flyweight, and I feel like he's gonna reach that same level of greatness here at bantamweight. So I think he's going to mix in the takedowns well, and I think he'll be able to take Chito down. I really do. Chito, again, excellent takedown defense, but I feel like Figgy's gonna find a way to exploit it and bring the fight to the ground because I don't think he's gonna win it on the feet. So I'll say Figgy wins this fight by decision via control time. What the fuck do you guys think?